Have you ever felt the pull of youthful energy and the temptation to reclaim a past that seems just out of reach? The idea of being seen as desirable, vibrant, and full of life again can feel so intoxicating, especially when someone younger shows you that admiration. But is chasing that feeling worth losing yourself in the process? In this video, we're diving into some hard truths about relationships, aging, and the deep emotional costs of trying to recapture the vitality of youth. Stay with me until the end, because the lessons shared here are life-changing. We'll explore why you must resist the seductive illusion of youth, and why your worth isn't determined by someone else's admiration. The first lesson is one that cuts deep, showing you why holding on to your authentic self is not just important, it's essential. I'll also reveal why self-love is crucial to building meaningful relationships and how boundaries are vital for protecting your dignity. If you've ever felt humiliated or disrespected in a relationship, you'll want to hear this, because the painful truth about external validation will change the way you view love. This isn't about looking back to youth. It's about embracing the wisdom and strength that come with age, and learning to honor yourself in every relationship. Stick with me, and you'll discover how to regain your peace, honor your self-worth, and create connections based on mutual respect. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I encourage you to click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell to stay updated on all our latest content. I'm eager to hear your thoughts on today's topic. If you enjoy the content, please comment 1 below. If it doesn't resonate with you, leave a 0. Your feedback is crucial as it helps me create better videos that align with your interests. Now, let's get started. The first lesson is one that cuts deep, striking at the very core of our most vulnerable fears and desires. As tempting, exhilarating, and even intoxicating as it may be to bask in the fleeting golden glow of youth with someone younger, we must fiercely, and with unwavering determination, hold on to our sense of self and resist the seductive pull of this illusion. There is something almost magnetic about the idea of reclaiming the vitality of our youth, of rediscovering that spark and energy that we feel we may have lost with age. Yet, in chasing this mirage, we risk losing our authentic selves, slowly surrendering pieces of who we truly are to a false narrative that convinces us that our worth is only validated through the admiration of others, or worse, through someone else's youthful gaze. It is all too easy to fall into the trap of believing that we must prove ourselves, to show that we are still capable, still full of life, still desirable. But as we get caught in this dangerous pursuit, we often find ourselves giving our precious time, energy, and heart to someone who, deep down, may never truly understand or appreciate the depth of our being. Like the character in this story, we allow ourselves to be swept away by the desire to feel wanted, to feel that we still have something to offer, that we can still captivate. In this misguided chase, we often overlook the glaring reality that the other person, while perhaps enamored by the surface, may not truly value who we are at our core. And in doing so, we end up allowing them to take far more than we realize. Our time, our emotional energy, our peace of mind, and give so little in return. The painful truth is that this desperate need to prove our vitality can often lead us to endure humiliation and disrespect, allowing things to unfold in ways we would never have tolerated in other phases of our lives. In the past, we might have drawn boundaries with fierce resolve, knowing our worth and holding our heads high. But in the pursuit of external validation, we lower our standards, convincing ourselves that this is just part of the process, that it is worth enduring for the chance to feel seen again. The desire to feel vibrant and capable can spiral into a dangerous pattern, where we find ourselves accepting things, words, actions, and behaviors that we would never have dreamed of tolerating when we were truly in touch with our own value. Love, in its most beautiful and pure form, is not meant to be a field of constant tests, challenges, or conditions. It is not a battleground where we must continuously prove our worth, nor should it ever feel like a high-stakes game where we are constantly measuring ourselves against someone else's standards. Love is not a prize to be won or a contest to be entered. It should be a sacred space, a haven where both partners come together not to validate their egos but to nurture each other's hearts. It is a space for mutual respect, deep connection, and unwavering acceptance, where both individuals can thrive without the fear of being judged or discarded. True love is about embracing one another, flaws and all, and cherishing the other person for the fullness of who they are, not for the image they project or the things they feel they need to prove. It's about honoring the shared experiences and the depth of the connection that transcends the superficial and the temporary. In this way, we must learn to release the illusion of youth and embrace the beauty of authenticity. Only then can we begin to experience love in its truest, most profound form. One where we are truly seen, valued, and loved for who we are, not for who we are trying to be. The second lesson this story imparts is a powerful and often overlooked one: the importance of self-love. It is an invaluable truth that cannot be overstated. Loving oneself is not a luxury, but a necessity, especially when navigating the complexities of relationships. In his case, accepting cruel, cutting comments about his performance and his age was not just an emotional wound, it was akin to surrendering a part of his soul. He believed, perhaps naively, that enduring these harsh criticisms in the name of love was an act of nobility, a self-sacrifice that proved his devotion. Yet, in reality, each time he swallowed his pain and humiliation, he was losing a piece of his dignity, his self-respect, and ultimately, his sense of self-worth. He sacrificed his own well-being in the hope that this would somehow demonstrate his commitment to the relationship. But the truth is far more heartbreaking. When we allow others to demean us, to strip away our self-esteem in the name of love, we are not honoring the relationship, we are dishonoring ourselves. True love, in its deepest and most genuine form, never requires the sacrifice of one's dignity or self-respect. Instead, it should inspire both partners to become the best versions of themselves, to feel seen and valued for who they truly are. Loving oneself is the first and most essential commitment we must make, long before we offer our hearts to another. It is not an act of selfishness, but of self-preservation. Without self-love, we become vulnerable, open to the disdain and disrespect of others, as we no longer recognize our own worth. When we forget how valuable we are, when we stop nurturing our sense of self, we place ourselves at the mercy of others' perceptions and judgments, leaving us exposed to hurt and disappointment. Recognizing that we are worthy of respect, affection, and kindness is the foundation for any healthy relationship. Only when we hold ourselves in high regard can we build relationships that reflect the same level of mutual respect and understanding. True intimacy thrives in an environment where both individuals honor themselves as much as they honor each other. Without this essential self-love, relationships become lopsided, where one partner gives more than they should, and the other takes without truly valuing the gift. This imbalance leads to resentment, frustration, and ultimately, heartbreak. If you are still watching this video, and find these lessons useful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Therefore, the key to any meaningful connection lies in first learning to love and value ourselves. Only then can we attract the kind of love that nurtures, elevates, and sustains us. One that sees us for who we are, not for who we are trying to become in order to gain approval. Self-love is not just the foundation of a healthy relationship. It is the very cornerstone of a fulfilling life. The third lesson is one that speaks to the heart of personal strength and resilience. The courage to say enough and face solitude, even if only temporarily, as a path toward peace and healing. When he made the decision to leave that relationship, it wasn't just a simple separation of two lives. It was a profound, life-altering act of self-reclamation. In choosing to walk away, he wasn't just leaving behind a person. He was also shedding the weight of unhealthy patterns, emotional wounds, and the false beliefs he had allowed to shape his sense of self-worth. It was a moment of recovery, where he chose to take back his dignity, to step away from a situation that no longer honored him, and to reclaim the pieces of himself he had lost along the way. This decision was not an easy one. In fact, it was the harder path, a path filled with uncertainty, loneliness, and emotional turmoil. The prospect of facing the world alone, even temporarily, can feel daunting, even terrifying. Yet, in choosing solitude, he chose the more dignified route. He recognized that in order to rebuild his life, he needed to first rebuild himself. By stepping away from a relationship that wasn't serving him, he was not just creating physical space between himself and the other person, but also creating emotional and mental space to reconnect with who he truly was. It was in this space of solitude that he was able to heal, to reflect, and to realign with his own values and desires. Solitude, in this context, is often misunderstood. So many of us fear it, believing that it signifies loneliness, abandonment, or an emptiness that must be filled. But the truth is, solitude can be a powerful and transformative refuge. It is not a punishment or a sign of failure. It is an opportunity to pause, to breathe, and to reconnect with ourselves on a deeper level. It is the space where we can listen to our own thoughts and feelings without the interference of others' opinions, expectations, or judgments. Solitude allows us to rediscover the parts of ourselves that may have been buried under the noise of a toxic relationship or external pressures. It is in this space that we can begin to heal from the wounds we may have endured, to piece together the fragments of our self-esteem that have been chipped away by criticism or neglect, and to build the foundation for a stronger, more resilient self. For him, this period of solitude was not just about being physically alone. It was a time to reconnect with his own heart, to confront the emotional scars he had been carrying, and to honor his own needs and desires. It was a moment of deep self-reflection, where he could finally ask himself the hard questions about what he truly wanted from life and love, and what he was willing to accept or reject moving forward. In choosing this path of solitude, he gave himself the invaluable gift of inner peace, something that no one could take from him, no matter what happened next. This peace became a sanctuary, a place of healing that grew stronger each day as he nurtured it. He realized that this peace, once restored, would be the foundation for his future relationships, a reminder that his sense of self-worth and dignity could never again be compromised for the sake of someone else's approval. The courage to face solitude is not something that comes easily to everyone, especially when it feels like we are walking away from something or someone we once held dear. But sometimes, the hardest choice, the one that feels most uncomfortable in the moment, is also the most transformative. When we choose solitude, we are choosing to protect ourselves, to preserve our peace, and to honor our emotional well-being above all else. In doing so, we create the space to heal, to reflect, and to grow into the person we are meant to be. It is a recognition that we do not need to be in a relationship to feel whole or worthy, but that we must first be whole within ourselves before we can fully give ourselves to another. Solitude, far from being a punishment, is a form of self-respect. It is a conscious decision to put our needs and healing first, to allow ourselves the time and space to process, to release old wounds, and to regain our strength. It is in solitude that we come to understand the depths of our own desires, the boundaries we need to set, and the standards we must uphold in order to create a life and love that reflect our true worth. When we allow ourselves this time, we empower ourselves to move forward with greater clarity, confidence, and a renewed sense of purpose. In choosing solitude, he gave himself the greatest gift of all, the chance to rediscover himself, to rebuild his inner peace, and to move forward with a sense of dignity that no one could ever take away from him. This decision, as painful as it may have seemed in the moment, was the ultimate act of self-love and self-respect. It was a powerful reminder that sometimes, in order to truly heal and grow, we must first allow ourselves the courage to be alone, to face the silence, and to trust that it will lead us to a place of greater strength, peace, and fulfillment. The fourth lesson is one that often takes years to truly appreciate: the profound truth that, in advanced age, our experiences and memories become irreplaceable treasures. For those who fail to recognize this, they are often trapped in the shallow pursuit of fleeting ideals and superficial standards. In a world that endlessly worships youth, it's easy to forget that wrinkles, gray hairs, and the marks of time are not symbols of decline, but badges of honor. Each sign of aging carries a story, a lesson, a moment of growth that has shaped us into who we are today. These physical changes are not to be feared or hidden, but celebrated, for they reflect a life lived with depth, resilience, and richness. He came to the realization that he no longer needed to conform to the unrealistic ideal of perfect youth, a standard that society often imposes on us with its superficial obsessions. In fact, what he had, what we all have as we grow older, was something far more valuable. It was a wisdom that could only come from years of living, learning, and experiencing life in all its complexity. The ability to navigate challenges, the insights gained from overcoming hardships, the quiet confidence that comes with knowing oneself. These are the treasures that time bestows upon us. They cannot be bought, borrowed, or recreated, for they are born from the depths of living a full and rich life. Those who continue to chase the superficial, who remain obsessed with the appearance of eternal youth or the pursuit of external validation, will never fully understand the priceless value of the wisdom and perspective that comes with age. To them, the stories embedded in every wrinkle, every silver strand of hair, may seem insignificant, but to those who embrace their true essence, these marks of time are the very things that make us unique and irreplaceable. The richness of our experiences, the depth of our emotional journey, and the lessons learned along the way are the true indicators of a life well lived, far surpassing any fleeting beauty or youthful appearance. That's why it is futile to try to please or impress those who cannot recognize the essence of who we truly are. It's a painful truth, but one worth acknowledging. There will always be people who are more focused on surface-level attraction or temporary infatuation, people who cannot see beyond the physical or the shallow. Their inability to understand the value of wisdom acquired with time means that they are not the ones capable of appreciating our true worth. Trying to fit into their narrow definitions of beauty, worth, or success is a pointless exercise that only detracts from our own peace and self-acceptance. True fulfillment comes not from seeking validation from those who fail to see the depth of our being, but from embracing our own history, our own journey, and all the lessons we have learned along the way. As we age, we move beyond the pressures to conform to society's fleeting standards. Instead, we become more attuned to the richness of our own experiences, and we come to understand that our worth is not tied to external appearances, but to the depth of our character and the wisdom that we carry with us. It is this wisdom, this treasure, that defines us, and it is what makes us truly valuable. The fifth lesson is one that touches the heart of deep emotional and physical connection in relationships, the significance of paying attention to the pleasure of one's partner, including acts such as oral sex, as a reflection of generosity, care, and affection. In his experience, he realized that, despite no longer having the physical vigor of his youth, he could still show his love and desire for her in meaningful ways. What he learned was that true pleasure in a relationship is not confined to physical performance. Rather, it is about how deeply we invest in each other, in the emotional and sensual aspects of intimacy, and in the moments of genuine connection that go beyond the limitations of youth. His understanding evolved as he came to see that when a man is focused on the pleasure of his partner, especially in intimate moments, it reveals a generosity and selflessness that is far more valuable than fleeting physical appearances or strength. This act of attentiveness often reflects a deep emotional maturity, a man who is more focused on the shared experience and the joy of giving than on his own ego or needs. It's a gesture of true affection, one that places the well-being of the partner above the desire for validation or gratification. In his case, by shifting his focus from the pressures of youthful performance to the act of nurturing and pleasing her, he discovered the profound beauty of creating intimacy through care and emotional presence. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Such acts of affection, whether physical, emotional, or both, are about showing that love in a relationship isn't transactional or about simply fulfilling an expectation. It's about understanding that real connection is built on trust, respect, and shared vulnerability. By offering her pleasure without expecting anything in return, he demonstrated a willingness to invest in their relationship in ways that transcended any superficial standards. This generosity, in essence, became a form of emotional intimacy that was not dependent on physical prowess, but on the depth of feeling and emotional commitment he was willing to give. However, this lesson also carries a critical point. For any act of intimacy to truly have meaning, respect and mutuality must be at the forefront. Offering pleasure is a beautiful expression of love and tenderness, but it should never be an obligation, nor should it be used as a tool of manipulation or control. It's essential that the exchange be based on willingness, not expectation. Both partners must feel that their needs and desires are being honored in a way that nurtures rather than diminishes their sense of self. True intimacy cannot exist if one partner feels used, unappreciated, or pressured into fulfilling roles that they are not comfortable with. The balance must always tip toward care, and the relationship must be rooted in respect, where neither partner feels their worth is dependent on physical performance or outward appearances. In this particular journey, he learned that, despite his readiness to give his best in order to please her, it was equally essential that his efforts be valued and respected. He came to realize that without acknowledgement and appreciation, even the most generous acts could lose their power. The emotional and physical connection must always be reciprocated with mutual respect, and the essence of intimacy must be rooted in a genuine appreciation for each other as whole individuals. The lesson he took from this was that true intimacy thrives in an atmosphere of trust, where both partners feel heard, valued, and understood. It is not about fulfilling obligations or expectations, but about nurturing a bond that goes beyond the physical to encompass the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual. He also learned that, at the heart of all intimacy, there should always be room for open communication. No act should be undertaken if either partner feels it could lead to feelings of shame or inadequacy. Each person deserves the freedom to express their boundaries, desires, and needs without fear of judgment or criticism. The relationship must be a safe space for both to explore affection and connection in ways that feel empowering, fulfilling, and nurturing. If this story has resonated with you and you believe these lessons hold the power to make a meaningful impact, I encourage you to take a moment to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share this important message with others. Many of us struggle with the pressures of external expectations, but these lessons remind us that the true value of a relationship lies in dignity, self-love, and respect for one another's needs. By sharing this message, you are helping to spread a much-needed reminder that real intimacy goes beyond the physical. It is about emotional connection, mutual care, and a commitment to honoring each other's humanity. After all, the greatest life lessons often come from those who have lived enough to understand the deeper meaning of love, respect, and what truly makes relationships meaningful. So, what have you learned today? These lessons are powerful reminders of the importance of self-love, authenticity, and respecting your own worth, no matter your age. What's one thing you'll take from this video and start practicing in your life right now? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and how you're going to use this knowledge moving forward. If you found this video valuable, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. By doing so, you'll be helping spread this important message to others who might need it. Remember, real intimacy isn't about looking back. It's about moving forward with strength, self-love, and respect for yourself and those around you.